Pretty good by the grace of God.
Hello, anybody who's joining online live or later. It's good to have you. Good to have your participation. We're going to begin in prayer. Lord Jesus, I thank you for this new day. Lord, what a privilege and honor it is to come together as your people for Bible study and for worship. Lord, continually lead us through your word and your promises. Teach us and speak to us according to your Spirit. I pray this in your name. Amen. So I'm going to pass these out before we get into any of the questions. Because I was in my, thank you, there's a lot there. In my preparation, I was thinking about all that we've talked about, especially in regards to prophecy. And I remembered this image that really teaches essentially how prophets worked or how prophecy worked in Old Testament on, even in Revelation. And I thought this was a really awesome way of encapsulating what we've been talking about. I've mentioned that prophecy that you see in the Old Testament, for example, in Isaiah, all throughout Isaiah, that there's multiple fulfillments in one prophecy, meaning there's a temporal fulfillment, present-day fulfillment, but then also a fulfillment in Jesus, and then even beyond that, a fulfillment of Jesus' second coming. Okay? One of the, I don't want to call it a failure, but one of the biggest barriers or challenges when looking at prophecy, say in the Old Testament, is to neglect kind of having that holistic view. So it's really easy to only look at the temporal fulfillment and locate it in history a long time ago. Or it's easy to look at only the fulfillment in Jesus' first coming and neglect the second coming, kind of this whole expansive, eternal view of prophecy. So here's an example. So the first one is this. It's a very simplistic one of the one in the back. So we'll get to the one in the back. But I wanted to put both because one is very simplistic, and then the other one is a little bit more detailed to kind of draw our eyes to it. So say you have this person, this prophet, say Isaiah. I'm guessing you would know that that's this stick figure right here, who has this vision, this oracle, as we've put in the Bible study, from God to speak to the kingdom of Israel, for example, or the kingdom of Judah, whoever it is. And in it, you're going to see he in the Old Testament, this vision, this prophecy that entails details of the present age. Okay, but then you'll see scattered within it this prophecy of the suffering servant, this prophecy of Jesus. You'll see the time of Christ in this kind of packaged prophecy of this individual. And then even beyond that, the beyond future. So really cool image of understanding as like the mountain peaks of prophecy. This kind of vertical view or kind of ascending view of prophecy where the prophet is given the sight of these mountain peaks. Okay? But what they're not given particular detailed sight of is the valleys, okay? The time between. So it looks like this one conglomerate packaged image that's all happening at once. But they're not seeing the chasm or the time between. Does that make sense?
Is that the 400, or that's 400 years of silence that they call it?
Yeah, it could be the 400 years of silence. It could be,
okay.
We'll get to here, but the time of Christ in the future, the time of the church, right, that we're in right now, prophets didn't see it, okay? They didn't see, so like you're seeing like, well, let's turn the page, and then we can get into a little bit more of the detail. So it's relating to what I was saying is you have the prophet on the left, right? They see the mountaintop of, say, the birth of Christ And there's various sources here. We're not going to get into looking up every single one because that'll fill our entire time. But it's something that you can do on your own time to kind of see the complexity of this. Where was I going with it? Well, first, take a time to digest it, to look at it, and let me know if you have any questions or thoughts pertaining to it. So we have what the prophets saw, the birth of Christ. Okay, Calvary, the virgin birth, Isaiah, suffering servant, Calvary. Even Pentecost was seen in the vision of Joel. Okay, and then we have in Daniel and Malachi and Revelation, still in Isaiah, this the final days, the Antichrist, the coming of Jesus' second coming, the New Jerusalem, the kingdom, and the new earth that we see in Revelation.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wish I had this image, and I could maybe do this in the future at some point. But again, when you look at a vision of a prophet, without kind of seeing these mountain peaks, it just looks like one moment packaged, like one vision, right? Not this trajectory. So this is actually why there is contention over the role of Jesus from the perspective of, say, Judaism. Okay, a lot of it is the battle over the temporal versus the